Hey y'all, so it is bee package install day. I've been waiting 8 days to do this, so a little bit of a debacle. Forgive me, I'm trying to start my smoker as I'm doing this because I came home in between work to get this done really quick. So I'm kind of in a time crunch because of how long these bees have been in this package. But I was initially supposed to get them on the 10th or the 14th. The company delayed that, and then they actually said they were going to ship to me on May 5th, which was fine. And then I randomly got a shipping notification that said they shipped this last Monday. And of course they were to be delivered when we were going to be out of town on vacation. So I had a bee friend who was very kind to go pick them up for me from the post office and keep them at his house until I could get back. So it's not ideal to have a package in its crate for about 8 days. They run out of sugar water. There's a lot of things that could go wrong, but surprisingly, they still look pretty good. And so I'm pretty happy with that. So I just want to come home and get them installed really quick. They need feed. I would guess that they're out of feed, but a lot of people asked to see this process. And so I will show you the process. And this is the exact process that I repeated on my other hive. That hive over there, and that hive is really thriving and doing well. I have 2 deeps and a honey super on, and this is what this one looks like. So the exact same setup essentially. I have some sugar water pre-made over there. These are the bees here. Package of bees is about 3 pounds of live bees, and I already have these frames pre-waxed. They are just frames. I'm going foundationless. I did that in my other hive. Please excuse all of my amaranthus self-seed that needs to be pulled. That's getting done later today as well. But anyways, this is the exact same setup as I had with my other hive, and it worked out perfectly. So let's just get these installed. I'll show you kind of what I've already done. I've pre-waxed the strips on the frames. So let me just open this bad boy up and we'll get started. All right, so I also made a shim feeder with Flow Hive. I really like all of their equipment. This is not a sponsored ad, but it's pretty. I would never get a Flow Hive necessarily if I had a bunch of hives out on land, but I do care about how this area back here looks, and so that is why I chose Flow Hives for back here. But let me show you the feeder shim here. Flow Hive doesn't have medium supers yet. They're coming out with them, and they have a gabled roof like this. So when you have a gabled roof and you want a big feeder like I have here, I have a large feeder because it's going to hold a gallon of sugar water, and that will make my life a lot easier. And you need this little shim here, which in a future video I can explain how to make. I'll set that here. I've gotten all of these frames right here. I have pre-waxed them. Hope you can see here. You can see all the wax on them. So pre-waxed all of those so that the bees know where to start, but they are in fact foundationless. Just my preferred method, not the only method. Okay, so I went ahead and just threw a little bit more wax on these frames just because they've been sitting out here for a little while. I had waxed them earlier on, and that was in anticipation of me getting my bees when they were supposed to arrive. So let's let me stir the sugar water really quick. A lot of people will take their frames out and dump their bees in. Honestly, I don't think it really matters. Sugar water is getting pretty dissolved there. Have a lot of ants back here this time of year. I'm gonna have to be doing some stuff with that. We got a ton of rain this last weekend when we were gone, so they're all kind of coming up and moving. all of their eggs and stuff. Okay, so here, so this is how a package of bees comes here. You can see I just took all of the top off. There's a board right here that keeps the sugar water can in. There is a tab right here, this black one, that is connected to the queen cage. We are going to pull that here shortly, and we're going to absolutely pray and hope that she is still alive in here. Sometimes, oh, this can is so empty. Sometimes this can be a little hard to get out. All right, here we go. Okay, I want to take this out. These bees are going to want to come out of here. Actually, there's more sugar water in here than I thought. Damn, I'm impressed. Okay, oops, sorry. Not my language. Because okay, and so what I'm going to do here is, now I've got the queen. The queen is right here in this cage. In a minute, I will show you. She's been in here for many a days. Let's see if we can, let's hope she's still alive. Let me get these bees in here and then I will show you her. So they're going to start filing down into here. And then what I'm going to do, let me back my camera really quick. This is their new hive, obviously. So I'm going to tilt this up just like so. And their queen is up top, so they will go to where she is. Everything that's left in the box, they will slowly climb up and into their new hive. Really, installing a package of bees is a really simple process. Ah, yeah, she looks good. So I really just don't want to get stung right before I go back to work. Honestly, I don't love her. She looks really small. Like almost unmated to me. I hope that's not the case. See if you can see her. It's hard for me to see through my veil and through this here, but I was paying attention to how they were reacting to her when I was brushing them off, and they were really calm. They weren't trying to sting her. And again, they've been in here for 8 days together, so they've gotten acclimated to her pheromone. And this is not the queen. This is not their queen. These breeders, they're just going to throw 3 pounds of bees into a package with a queen that is supposed to be mated. But I do not love this at all. I'm going to be honest with you. She just doesn't look mated to me. But regardless, she'll have to fly and get mated in a drone congregation zone, or they will supersede her, but they don't have time to supersede her because they don't have any eggs. I will be paying very close attention to this hive, however, and when this hive, I'm going to watch them build up. I'm going to watch them build their frames and things like that. If they are struggling, because I am a beekeeper that doesn't have the luxury of a bunch of drawn out comb, and that's just how it works. When you're a new beekeeper, it takes time to build that stuff up. It takes time to build that stuff up, and so I don't have that luxury. But what I do have is the luxury of another hive that has drawn out comb, that has eggs, that has capped larvae. And if they end up being not ideal, basically, then I will add eggs from that hive. Not ideal, meaning they haven't drawn out enough comb fast enough for the queen to lay. If she's mated, I really don't love that. I do not love the way she looks. Anyways, we'll see. It's what I've got to deal with right now, so it kind of just is what it is. But if they need it, I can steal a frame of eggs or capped larvae from my other hive over there and keep them going that way. I have plenty of options. So there's a lot of dead bees on this pile here. They're gonna have to kind of work that out, and you know, especially with the non-mated queen, I am so hesitant to release her. In my other package, they were with each other for long enough that I just went ahead and released her directly once I got the package. But gosh. They are just going crazy because all of my instruments and things like that have wax and things like that on them. Although I did clean my instrumentation from my other hive, even though my other hive is really clean and healthy. You don't want to mix and match tools and just keep going. You do want to sterilize them. So but yes, I have some sugar water on my gloves and I have some wax on my gloves, so they are just like kind of going crazy over my hands. So I'm gonna lay her back down, let them calm down a bit. There's a lot of bees here. They are way healthier. Than I expected them to be for being in that package for so many days. Look back there in that right hand corner of that box and you can see how they're just swarming over her. And they're definitely not defensive when I try to brush them off or things like that. So I'm definitely going to release her. I need to get these bees all in this box, and then I need to watch her go down in this box, because what you worry about in this situation, especially if she's not mated, she's gonna fly. So gosh, I wish I was a little bit more confident that she was mated. I mean, these bee breeders do know what they're doing, but they are starting to work their way down into this hive. But what I need to do is get some of these bees a little bit more settled and get them in more in this box, and then I will go back and put that shim lid on that I showed you at the beginning of this video. They kind of fly around in a frenzy like this, you know, initially. They will go in here and they will clean these dead bees up. They will get these dead bees out on their own. And then a lot of them, that's why I don't shake them too hard, is just because a lot of dead bees are still in the box and it's just kind of less work that they have to do. So I'm gonna get these girls and gals. There are some drones in here though, so that's a plus. It's a little bit later in the season, but they are all over my hive tool to make this easier on myself. I'm gonna get my other hive tool that I don't love near as much. It doesn't have a lot of extra wax and stuff on it. And let them work on this one over here so I can get them out of my way. I do love installing a package. I think installing a package is more fun than a nuke. I've never personally installed a nuke myself, but I've watched it done, and I just think it's really, really cool. This is such a risky move right here. Ah! But I'm doing it. This plug over here is the only thing keeping her in. So once I release this, she's out of here if she wants to be. They've had plenty of time to be acclimated to her, so you can see her right here. Sometimes it's easier to also take the screen off, but when you have a million bees, sometimes it's not in your face. Come on out. All right, she's in. I'm gonna watch her go down. Okay, she's in. She went down into the hive, so I'm happy about that. They will still have her pheromone on here, so I'm gonna release this one bee that's still in here that's live. Okay, perfect. So she's in. Set this over here, get this out of the way, and then my smoker probably died on me again. So I'll see if I can get that going. But I watched her walk down into the hive. They will follow her down in there. Once I close this lid up, then they will start fanning her pheromone. and all the bees will start going in the entrance down there. You probably see some of them already are. I don't know if you can see it in this video, but that is so hot. Come on. So now I have to get all of these bees in this box. I don't want to squish a bunch of bees unnecessarily, so just working on getting them off the edges here of this box, which is always easier said than done. Going to throw this feeder on really quick. All right, well, my camera just overheated. What I did do, you saw me get this top feeder shim on. This top plastic white box is a sugar syrup feeder, or just a feeder. It's a gallon feeder. So I got that on there, got the top closed there. They immediately went straight to the sugar water. And so what I'm gonna do is allow them to calm down a little bit. Having everything closed up makes them fan her pheromones here. Let's try to get out of the shade and hope my camera doesn't overheat, but you can see them kind of start to march in here. That's what happens when they're fanning her pheromone. They'll come in that location. You can see these two bees right here at the very top here of the black. They are fanning her pheromone. She is in there. And you can also see where I took her out of her cage over there. They're still a little bit confused because her pheromones all over that cage. So I'll come over here and I'll dump them at the front of this hive. So they'll start to march in. And I'm gonna see if I can keep my camera from overheating here. But this is kind of a cool process, I think. So while I'm getting some other stuff adjusted, I'll let you guys watch that. So also, this package came in on Thursday, and I was already at the airport when I got the call from the post office that this had come in. And so I actually went ahead and had my friend pick these up, And turns out we had a ton of rain this weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were super stormy, super rainy. I think we got about 4 inches of rain, which is awesome, which is why you see all my amaranthus seeds going crazy. They've been up for a while, but it's easier to wait until they get to a certain point and pull them, especially after all the rain we got. So, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to install these bees any sooner anyways. I would have certainly had to have waited until today anyways to install if I wouldn't have been able to install them on Thursday. So I guess it kind of worked out, and they are in much better shape than I anticipated them being, even after being in that package for 8 days. They were in there for 8 days. Now, obviously, they have to be put in a climate. They can't be left outside. They have to be able to cool themselves a little bit and things like that. But it's, you know, it's super nice of my beekeeping friend to go snag these and keep them in their house for me. And I'm really pleased, because I was worried about this all weekend. I was worried about how they were going to be. And so now I guess my only concern at this point is my queen mated. You know, it's really hard to tell when you're looking at her, but she looked really small. They will obviously deal with her for a little bit, but if she's not well mated, she's not going to be of much use to me. So I will be very cognizant of that as I am inspecting this hive. So I will let them kind of do their thing for a week, and they'll come back in and inspect. Of course, because I'm foundationless, I will be checking the foundations, the comb that they're building, to make sure that they are building straight comb. Typically the brood frames aren't an issue with cross combing and things like that. It's typically more like the honey super comb, but all right, well, I'm going to go, number one, make some more sugar water to fill the rest of this up, and number two, I honestly forgot what I was gonna say, but oh, I need to put oil in the ant traps that are on the legs of this hive. Let me show you here. These right here, this is a really nice invention. Those unscrew, and there's a little portion underneath there that has place for oil, so when the ants climb up, they'll get stuck in those oil traps and they can't get up the hive legs, because ants obviously like sweet things. And so you can see there, I spilled some sugar water over there on to the left on my raised bed, and there's ants all over it already. I came home last night, got home really late in my other hive, and noticed a trail of ants up there. So they had some ants in the lid, so I filled up those oil traps last night, got rid of the ants. And I'm gonna go over there and check on that really quick and get some more sugar water for this hive. Hopefully we'll get to what we can get here until my camera overheats, but I need to get back to work, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out really quick. And if my camera dies, I apologize, but it's just gonna kind of be the same consistent stuff. They're going to town on the sugar water, which I totally expected. There's even one in my jar here. Give you guys a good look at my other hive right now. So we get that to focus. And here's what we're working with. Lots of orientation flights going on. They are sucking down the sugar water. I just checked, and a lot of it's gone just since around lunchtime when I installed this package, and I expect them to do well. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the amount of bees that were still alive in this package, even after 8 days. We'll circle back around for the queen. I'll be paying very close attention to them building out comb as well as her laying eggs. I didn't really particularly love the way she looked. She looked very small. That doesn't always mean that she's unmated, but sometimes it means she's not mated well. And so you always want to a well-mated queen, obviously. She'll produce for you for a couple years, 2, maybe 3. She'll be a strong layer. She'll lay a very good brood pattern. And, you know, unmated, obviously they aren't going to be able to lay fertilized eggs. And then if they're not well mated, there's just a lot of things that could be problems if you don't have a well mated queen. So anyways, we'll keep a close eye on her. Now is the time of the year where I can get another mated queen should I need one. So I'll be paying very close attention to this hive. I'll be in it in the next 5 to 7 days or so, checking on the progress of their comb. Unfortunately, we are scheduled to get rain for the next probably 3 or 4 days. I think it's supposed to be overcast and cloudy, which is not ideal, but it should be okay. So anyways, I am just going to go ahead and let them do their thing. I forgot to fill up the pest tray that's in the bottom of this hive. It's just a little plastic tray that sits on the bottom where pests and things like that fall in there. So they don't have anything right now in there that is going to attract pests, because they don't have any honey, they don't have any comb, they don't have any pollen or anything like that. So I'll be okay to do that tomorrow, but I might just go ahead and do it right now and just kind of knock it out. But the next thing on the list is weeding. I've got a lot of things in the front to do, lots of exciting things going on in the front. The alliums are getting ready to bloom. I have a lot of things to plant. The peonies are in full bloom. So lots of really exciting things coming, obviously, here soon. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.